Alright guys, this is the weekend again. Just gonna give you a little bit of what I'm looking for next week. So on the weekly chart we have this relative equal lows created. I'm thinking that price might want to dip into this opening gap before we send it up higher. That's what I'm thinking, because eventually we are still trading above this gap here, so technically I wouldn't want to say that we are going down yet. And at the same time, it is December and holidays are coming, so I think next week will be the last week where we see some volatility in the markets, and then after that it would just be like a sideways chop till January. That is what I'm thinking. So I expect price to find some support down here before we send up to this area here next week. It's going to be a very volatile week because we have two consecutive high impact news drivers. One is the CPI, the other one is the FOMC interest rates. Right, on the daily chart we can clearly see that these equal lows are just begging to be purged. Okay, we had this strong down close power of 3 candle here. It's a bearish signal, right? But at the same time, I'm not sure how it's gonna play out to take out this relative equal lows. I must see, and I need the data from Monday to be able to determine or have any possible scenarios of how it's gonna play out. Other than that, you can see that over here, right at the middle, like the 50% of this whole fair value gap here, we have the confluence of the gap over here. I think I'm just gonna mark it out. Just gonna mark the gaps out, makes it easier. Yep. So at 50% of the balance, of the fair value gap down here, we do have the gap support. So I'm thinking this would be the next draw on liquidity. The lows will be the next draw of liquidity, and we find some support up here, down here, before we get a reversal back up into this level here, and this maybe this volume imbalance over here, right? Because right now we have the contract change, so I'm not sure if I'm able to trade next week, but I will be paper trading this continuous contract over here, just paper trading, because I think my broker doesn't allow me to trade for the next 3 days, as that they state that their last trading day is on 16 December, because they want to like replace the previous contract, which is for December. They're going to replace it with March contract for 2023. Okay, so let's see how it goes. It would be a pity if I can't trade, because I think it would be a very nice trade after FOMC interest rates. That is what I'm looking to play if I am able to trade. That will be the day I'll be focusing, and yeah, that's about it. Nothing much else. maybe Monday we get to see a further continuation down. We do have three sets of unclosed candles here. Together they form a bearish order block prior to the breakdown over here with this fair value gap and this low over here, which is the next draw of liquidity on the lower time frames, and of course this phantom trend line as well. On the 15-minute chart, right, within that 1 hour, we can see that this is the opening of the order block and this is the end of the wick of the order block. So within this range here, this whole range is the wick of that order block, and within this wick there is a 15-minute bearish fair value gap over here. Right, this candle took out this low, and this swing low down here. So three swing lows taken out by this candle without any offering of buyers and sellers over here. So I think price would want to retrace up into this area before continuing down. So if we take the fib, the last swing high to this area here, it's right above, it's right on 50%, and above it would be 62%, which would right be in the OT range. So it's a good setup for the 15-minute time frame if you're playing it. Yep. And yeah, I think that's about it. Nothing else really. There's no news drivers on Monday. If not, I would be able to participate on Monday, but I'm just gonna watch how price plays out. Not trying to push too hard as we are heading into the holiday season and the end of 2022. We have plenty of opportunities next year, right? As long as price keeps continuing to spool higher, it is to my advantage because I'm looking to short the market down to the final eventual target of 2009, and I think the first point of contact would be over here, 3002, right? We might get a small bounce at 3003, not too sure, but this should be a bounce to retracement into this area here before we continue downwards to take out this relative equal lows on the daily. That's what I'm thinking, and from here I think we'll get to see some form of, can I say, bear market rally before we reach into this area by the mid of next year, which is I think in the month of May and June. I think that's the scenario here, right? I think that's about it. Right, over here the 3-month reacted perfectly. This is way too clean. As I said, I do not expect price to go above this area here if we were to remain bearish, to close above this area, okay? If we were to remain bearish, right? Let's see how December closes. And yeah, I think in January we might get one more run up here before breaking down, or maybe we get it in February and March, not too sure, but they are all within the same candle because this is the quarterly candle, right? Okay, yeah, that's really it. See you guys next week. if anything significant plays out.